This is 6th grade transformation review. Number 1. The vertex of a figure is located at -2, 4. The figure is transformed and the image of the vertex is located at 4, 2. What is the rule? So let's look at our original and what happened to it. When we write the rules, we always start with x, y, transforms into, well, my x and my y was -2, 4. And it became 4, 2. So let's look at what happened to them. The 2 became the y, and it was the opposite. The y became the x. So the rule would be y, because that's what the 4 is, and then the x would be opposite of the x. Number 2. If triangles ABC is rotated 90 degrees clockwise about the origin, here's your origin, what will be the new coordinates of vertex C? So I want to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. It's going to end up in this quadrant. Okay? And I'm only worried about C. So if C was -1, 1, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, it now would be 1, 1. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 1. Your x, your y became opposite x, y. So it would be right there. Number 3, do an 80 degrees rotation of the triangle about the origin. 80 degrees. The rule for that one, if we're going 80 degrees, it's going to be in the opposite. It's going to rotate all the way around. So your rule is opposite x, opposite y. It's going to be in the opposite coordinate plane. So if it is 2, 3, A prime would be 2, oh, that's a negative there, going backwards, 2, -3. Your original B is 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, 1. So B prime would be 4, -1. Original C is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -3, 5. C prime would be 3, -5. And then you can graph these at 2, -3, A prime, and then 4, -1, B prime, and then 3, -5, C prime. And this is your original figure. Number 4. Triangle ABC has vertices of 3, 3, 1, 1, 2, 5. Draw the figure and reflect it over the y-axis. So if we are reflecting over the y-axis, the x changes. Okay, the opposite changes when you have a reflection. It's always the opposite. So if I draw my grid, it's my y, x, and if my originals are, let's say, 3, 3 would be here. That would be A. 1, 1 would be B. And 2, 5 would be your C. And this is your original figure. This is your original. So we're going to highlight it. Okay, so your X, Y, reflecting over, your X is going to be the opposite, and your Y stays the same. So there's your rule. And we had A at 3, 3. So A prime would be -3, 3. B, original 1, 1. B prime would be -1, 1. C, 2, 5 would become C prime, -2, 5. So it should be reflected over here. So let's see if it turns out. A would be -3, 3. A prime. B prime would be -1, 1. And C would be -2, 5. C prime. So it just reflected over the y-axis. Number 5. If trapezoid KLMN shown below is reflected across the x-axis to form trapezoid KLMN prime, what are the coordinates of K? Reflecting across, and we're only concerned about K. Right there. So when it's reflected across the x, the y changes. Remember that, because it's a reflection, and reflections are opposite. So if K is 1, 1, 2, and this is your x and this is your y is going to change when it reflects over the x-axis. So I want it to reflect on this side. So K prime will be 1, -2. 1, 1, 2. Number 6. Which shows a translation of a pentagon ABCDE 2 units down. So we're going down. Translations are slides when it slides. And it's telling us that we're going down. Figure A, we have the line AB, and it went down to here. That would be 1, 2. So it did go 2 units down. AB went from here to here. So it went 2 units to the right. AB here reflected over to the left, or it could translate to the left. And then this one also went to the left. So your answer is A, because it went down, and that's what it was asking. Number 7, describe the transformation. So here's my original. And what did it do? Well, if it slid, your AB would still be over here. So it was not a translation. And if it rotated, it would end up looking like this. It didn't rotate, so it had to be a reflection. Over which axis? It reflected over the y-axis. Number 8. When triangle RST is translated 7 units up, what are the coordinates? Okay, we're going to take it up. So let's do our originals. So your original is 2, 1, and 5, negative 3. And your T is negative 1, negative 4. So R prime, S prime, and T prime, we're going to translate it 7 units up. So if we're just moving this up, that means R is going straight up, T is going straight up, and S is going straight up. 7 units. So what's not going to change is your X. Only your Y will change. So your X and your Y. Only your Y will change. And it's going to change by adding 7 units. So your R prime is going to be 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. S prime, again, your X is staying the same at 5. You have a negative 3. And if you add 7 to that, you will get 4, positive 4, by adding a positive 7 to a negative 3. Negative 1, and if you're at negative 4, and you go up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're going to be at 3. So remember, you can always just count up to see where they're going to be. This one kind of go off the chart, but add 7 units up, so that's going to affect your Y. So it would be X, Y plus 7. Number 9, we're not going to do it because it has to do with dilations. We haven't covered that yet. So I'm not doing 9. Let's go to 10. Point P, negative 2, negative 10, is reflected over the X axis. Write the coordinates of P. So again, I want you to make that note. If it is reflected over the X axis, the Y changes because reflections are opposite. So x, y, it would be -2. Opposite of -10 would be a +10. Number 11, write the rule to describe xy is translated to x minus 4, y plus 3. So your x goes, okay, so if this is my x-axis, okay, if this is my x, and you take x minus 4, so let's just say it's right here. And if I go minus 4, what did I do? X went left. By 4. And then your y, if we have a y here, and it goes up 3, we added up by 3 because we added to it. Number 12. What is the image of point -2, 5 after reflection of the x-axis? So again, I want you to write, if it's a reflection over the x, your y changes. Reflections are always opposite. So if you have your x and your y over the x, y changes. -2, 5. Okay, you have to remember that rule. Number 13. Figure L and figure M are shown on the grid below or to the side. Okay, let's check out the L. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3. So this is a 4 by 3. M is a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, a 3 by 3. Okay, let's notice that first. Maria wants to transform figure L to figure M by using rotations, reflections, or transformations. Which statement is true? Let's review. Rotations, reflections, and translations. Congruency is preserved. Congruent means same size, same shape. These are not the same size or the same shape. Okay, so A, transformation can be done with a reflection followed by a rotation. So reflected and rotated. B, the transformation can be done with a reflection followed by a translation. So reflected, translation. Slide down. C, the transformation cannot be done because figure L is not congruent to figure M. And that is your key word right there. They are not congruent, so they cannot be done. D, the transformation cannot be done because figures L and M are in different quadrants. That doesn't matter. So your answer is C. Number 14. If point 63 is rotated, so we're rotating counterclockwise 90 degrees of the origin, the image, its image will be point. What points? I guess. Okay, so we're drawing our grid. And if 6, 3 would be right here, and we want to rotate it counterclockwise. The clock goes this way, so counter means opposite, so it would go right here 90 degrees. So your X, Y would go to, the rule would be, what's changing? Your X is changing, okay? And your Y, because it's going to be rotated. So y, opposite of y, and x. So if it's 6, 3, the rule says it's going to be rotated counterclockwise. Well, then it becomes 3 and up 6. Negative 3 up 6. Okay. So if I rotated it around, I would go backwards 1, 2, 3, negative 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there it would be. So that is your counterclockwise 90 degrees. Point D. 2, 4 is rotated 180 degrees about the origin. What do we know about rotating something 180 degrees? It's going to be in the complete opposite. Okay? So if it's here, oh, actually, let's just use the coordinates. If it's here, point D, and I rotate it 180 degrees, this would be 90, 180. If I went the other way, counterclockwise, it would be 90, 180. So it doesn't matter which way you rotate it, 180 degrees is going to always be the opposite. So opposite of 2, 4, x, y is going to be the opposite of x, opposite of y. So that would go to negative 2, negative 4. Negative 2, negative 4. And that would give you, in this quadrant, opposite of D. Okay, 16. What set of coordinates will provide the vertices for a translation of x, y, z 2 units to the left? So we're going to take these and do it 2 units to the left. Okay, so your x will change by subtracting 2. 2 units to the left. Here's your number line, and we go left. Okay, you're subtracting 2. So let's look at our points. If we have a 1, 1, x prime will be, and if I subtract 2 from 1, you get negative 1, 1. Y prime, you have 2, you subtract 2 would be 0, negative 1. And z prime, if you have 1 and you subtract 2, you're going to get a negative 1, negative 6. Okay? If you have questions, please ask them on Google Classroom or come in before school. That is your review for transformations.